Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation on connotation and denotation. I'm Mrs. Swart, and I'm going to take you through this very short lesson, but packed full of interesting facts. So let's have a look. When we look at denotation, what does it mean? You'll see the picture of the dictionary there, and all that is there for is to remind you is that denotation, it's the literal meaning of a word. It's what the word actually means, the real meaning of the word or the sentence. It's an objective, explicit meaning. In other words, something like sand cannot be anything but sand, the stuff you feel in your hands if you pick it up from the earth. It's the literal or the primary meaning of a word, and it's in contrast to things like feelings or ideas that the word suggests. When someone says something and you think of something different, not of what the words actually mean, that is when we speak of denotation, the literal meaning of words. So here we have an example. We see its literal meaning. It's objective. It's explicit or very specific. And it's also the primary meaning. If you look at the definition, it gives you the pronunciation, and then it explains to you what it can mean. So it could be like a branch could be a branch of a tree, or it could be something a little different, like the branch of a company. Now we can go on to our connotation. I told you it's a very short lesson today. And then afterwards, in about a half an hour, you can start working on your quiz. So let's look at what connotation is. Remember, denotation, literal connotation will then be figurative. So you have it. Very easy. Connotation is the figurative meaning of a word or sentence. It's subjective. When we speak of objective, there's no feelings attached to it, but subjective, if you think of subjective, self. That means it's usually what you might think about it. And that's where connotation comes in. So a word's connotation is what it implies or suggests. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what the word means. If you look at the dictionary, it's what you might link to it, if you look at it that way. It's the action of indicating or referring to something by means of a word or a symbol. Let's just think of something like a heart. If you look in the dictionary at the meaning of heart, it's going to tell you that the heart is an organ in the body that beats and circulates the blood. And the people who are out there who know better than I do, please forgive me if I'm ignorant, but just to give you an idea that that's what it is. But if we think of heart, the connotation of a red heart is love. And you see a picture of a little heart with a jagged edge in between it. It's a broken heart, and that doesn't say, oh, your heart's broken, or your heart is happy. We speak of a happy heart, but we don't mean this heart that goes pump, pump, pump. We talk about your feelings, how you feel about something, your emotions. So the action of indicating or referring to something by means of a word or a symbol, we link a word to something, or the symbol, I've used the heart. We look at this picture, we say he is feeling under the weather. It means you're not feeling very good, you're feeling sick. So you look at that, can you really feel like that? Yes, maybe the weather's miserable, but you can't say I'm feeling under the weather. She is the life of the party. How can she be the life of the party? That doesn't make sense at all. But it means that when she's at a party, it's lots of fun. He is the boss. Well, it could really be the boss, so it could be denotation. But if I put some tone into my voice, sarcasm, your little brother irritates you and you say, he's the boss. You don't mean it in a nice way as well. The connotation is there's something nasty about it. Connotation, we give the figurative meaning, what the word implies or suggests, not what it means, not its actual meaning. It can indicate or refer to things like a symbol or a word. Let's look at this one. She buys vintage clothes. Now, vintage clothes are clothes that people might have used years ago and it's fashionable again. And there's someone who sells these vintage clothes. When you speak of vintage clothes, it sounds much better than saying old clothes, second-hand clothes. So we say vintage. She buys vintage clothes has a positive connotation. But if we say she buys used clothes, she buys old clothes, then it's a negative connotation. So we must watch out what sort of emotion we link to it. And in this case, she buys vintage clothes. Wow, that's fashionable. Wow, that's cool. So think about it when you use words. The choice of words is important as well as making sure that you actually are getting the message across that you want to get across. Now it's time to complete the quiz. You can join on the link or else you can use the QR code. And I hope that you're going to enjoy this. It was lots of fun to do. And it helps you to think again about the sort of things that you are saying and the sort of ways you treat people. So look very carefully when you select words, what your words are that you select and how it can make someone feel, how it can make you feel. Are you trying to say someone he's blue? It doesn't mean he's blue. Maybe he's getting cold and he's blue from the cold, but usually his blue is linked to his emotions. He's feeling negative. He's feeling bad. So look at your quiz, try it, and all the best and good luck with the quiz today.